if you have something on your to-do list or you have a goal that you had set out to achieve, and for whatever reason you're not taking action on it, go in the bathroom, look yourself in the eyes in the mirror, and ask yourself what you're afraid of.
Doesn't matter what people think of you or say about you. Your focus should not be on what people are saying. Your focus should not be on people's opinions. Your focus should be on changing yourself. Your focus should be on having positive opinions about yourself. No matter what you do, no matter who you are, there are always going to be people that will try to tear you down. There's always going to be people that talk down on you. So the point of building a healthy self-image isn't to win people over. It's to win yourself over. Because remember, if there is no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm.
Your urgency level for success will always dictate what you're willing to tolerate. Your urgency level for greatness will always dictate what you're willing to tolerate. Your urgency level for the person that you're striving to become will always dictate what you're willing to tolerate. If you got an urgency level to want to do something, it's certain environments that you don't even go into. It's certain dialogue that you don't even entertain. It's certain people that you don't even hang around. It's certain things that you don't even do. It's certain things that you don't even eat. It's certain places that you're not even willing to go. Your urgency level will always dictate what you're willing to tolerate. You can say it all day, but if you ain't got no urgency for it, I don't believe it.
Regret. You can't change the past. I don't care about how many times you've screwed up, how ashamed you are about something you did. Doesn't matter. Is that you? Is that really who you are? I already know you answered no. So if that's not who you are, why should it even matter? You beat 99% of the people right here. You kill regret and you literally smoke worry, right? Where it's not a part of your life if you can just be present.
Muhammad Ali said, I hated every one of those training sessions, but I said to myself, don't give up. He said, I didn't want to do those, but I wanted to be heavyweight champion of the world. This world is littered with geniuses who did nothing. The most successful entrepreneurs, creatives, humanitarians are people who capitalized on the potential they had. Capitalization. Important point, capitalization. You have what it takes.
So many people do not realize that what you focus on the most in your life is what's going to grow in your life. If you're always focusing on how bad things are, if you're always complaining, if you're always talking about, oh, I can't do this, that's what's gonna cultivate the most in your life. That's the things that you're giving energy to, right? And a lot of times you really have to take a step back and understand that where your focus goes, energy follows. So make sure that you're focusing on the things that are uplifting, the things that are aligned with your highest self, things that fill your cup up, things that make you feel more alive, not take from you and make you feel low and make you feel hopeless.
Just like the moon, you shall go through phases of light, phases of dark, and everything in between. And though you may not always appear with the same level of brightness, you are always, always whole.
The Stoic philosopher is the man who has liberated himself from fear. He's not afraid of death. He's not afraid of pain. He's not afraid of other people's dismissal as a fool. The only matter of concern to a wise and philosophic individual is the things completely under your control. You can't control the movements of the sun and the planets. You can't control whether a leaky ship sinks or makes it to port. You can't control the weather. You can't control other people. You can't control the society around you. There's only one thing and one thing only that you are in control of, and that is you.
There is no success without action. That's a fact. So, if you're not acting on what you know you should do today, the question I have for you is, when are you going to do it? The only time you have is now. It's the only time you have. So I would encourage you, make today count. We overestimate what we can do tomorrow. We over-exaggerate what we did yesterday. But we underestimate what we can do today. Guess what? Today is now.
Stick to your word. If you say you're gonna do something, do it. Don't put it off. Don't make excuses. Just do it. Because when you say you're going to do something and you don't, you ruin your self-respect. You open the door for bad habits, temptations, and vices to sneak through. So value the potential your actions have and respect yourself enough to do it. The world is split between those who talk and those who do. Which one are you gonna be?
One thing you need to realize is you need to think of yourself as a fucking freight train when you're going through life. It's gonna be hard to get the wheels going, to get it turning, to build momentum. But once you start, there's no stopping that thing. You're an unstoppable force. You're on your habits, on your daily grind. You've removed all vices and people that are no longer serving you. Your confidence builds as you move forward.
You have to suffer, you have to struggle, you have to endeavor, you have to do those hard things and work through it in order to really appreciate what you've done. And there are no such thing that are great that was easy to do. I wish upon you greatness, which by my way of saying it, I wish upon you plenty of pain and suffering.
Master focus, as it is what keeps you loyal to your path, the one and only path that will lead you to fulfillment. Go in tune with your purpose, that your presence daunts any opposing force that wishes to slow you down.
Confidence comes from doing so many repetitions of something hard that it becomes easy, from having nothing to prove to others because you prove it to yourself every single day, from not having to worry about the future because you are working towards it.
Just don't give up, even if right now it doesn't make sense. One day, I'm very, very sure, when you start to see the connections and things fall into place, you will maybe also realize that it couldn't have been different. Giving up was just simply not a question, was simply never an option. The winners continue where the losers stop.
So what stops you becoming the fullest version? It's the things in you that whisper to you that you cannot be the things that you hope for. It's not usually prohibitions, it's inhibitions. What stops us are the lies we believe that are not true.
Launch towards your goal, never consider the possibility of failure. Always forward, never backward. Always forward, never backward. Never consider the possibility of failure. Your ability to persist in the face of setbacks and disappointments is vital to all great achievement, and it's always a decision that you make. It's not the external environment, it's always the internal environment.
Opportunity mixed with difficulty. Opportunity mixed with challenge. We've got a chance to grow like never before, but I'm telling you, there's going to be many enemies that's going to try to prevent us. As soon as you plant the garden, the busy bugs and the noxious weeds are out to take it, and you've got to learn not only to nourish your values, you've got to learn to do battle with your enemies. Whatever threatens you, I'm asking you to threaten it back. Take care of your responsibility, but don't take anything off of anybody.
So many people talk about legacy. I want to leave a legacy. They use it in such a way that it sounds like it's easy. But it really, in order for you to leave a legacy, you got to live a life worth recording. One that can be an impact, one that has a voice long after you are gone, an echo that goes into generations long after you've left the face of the earth.
Greatness has no moods. You can't just be in the mood to be great. You can't just be in the mood to be a hard worker. You can't just be in the mood to be disciplined. It doesn't work that way. It has to become who you are. It has to consume you. It has to be your identity. Despite what I'm going through, despite my past failures, despite what people are saying about me, I'm going to get it done. I'm going to execute. It's not what I do, it's who I am. And life will seem like it's giving you hundreds of reasons to not execute today, but it's just a test to see how bad you really want it.
The version of you that you are right now is why you have what you have. You got to make a complete identity switch to get something different. And so what happens is when people aren't ready to do that, they will always go back to the low-hanging fruit that they're accustomed to, because your presence will require something different.
So I was just failing. I kept failing and kept failing and kept failing. So I had to teach myself how to fail right. And what that means is, when I fail, I can't spend much time in that fail zone. I have to be able to get up and get after the next day just as fast. So the big thing is know that if you have big goals and big dreams, along the way, failure is going to happen. So how fast do you get up from that?
The easiest thing in the world to do is to complain, blame, and quit and settle. That's the easiest thing in the world to do. But it takes real work to deconstruct and to reconstruct the thought process and the mindset of an individual when they're trying to change something.
You got to stick to the script. You got to continue to take steps every single day. Even if things don't always work out, don't waver. Don't just start to go off the path because you're not getting what you want. You know what I mean? And trust the process. Have faith that things will work out. And that this moment, what you're going through is teaching you something.
In life, you have to have no fear. You have to have no fear. You have to believe in who you are and what you do, and just go and get it.
What are you waiting for? In all honesty, what are you freaking waiting for? You know, there's not just going to be a day where, for no reason, you're going to just wake up and say, I'm going to go to the gym every day in perpetuity. You know, that doesn't really happen.
Most people don't lead their life, they accept their life. And when you accept your life, you are living on things that are not worthy of your time and effort and energy. To go uphill, you have to be intentional. Nobody ever went uphill by accident. You've never read a book on accidental achievements. You have to be intentional with what you do and who you are.
As far as I can tell, it's just about letting the universe know what you want and working toward it while letting go of how it comes to pass. Your job is not to figure out how it's going to happen for you, but to open the door in your head. And when the door opens in real life, just walk through it. And when I say life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you, I really don't know if that's true. Why not take a chance on faith as well? But faith, not hope. But faith. I don't believe in hope. Hope is a beggar. Hope walks through the fire and faith leaps over it.
You know yourself better than anyone, but sometimes you fall into the trap of believing the world. You're the only one who knows what's best for you. You don't need to look for answers anywhere else. They're inside of you. There's going to be noise from every corner. Ignore it. Stay true to yourself, because when you do, every challenge becomes a victory waiting to happen.
Every day, sunrise, sun goes down. So that means there is a up, there is a down. Since we are born, we have inhaled 50% of our times, we have exhaled 50% of our times. Our heart, the same. Sucking the blood, pumping the blood, also the same. Meaning always 50-50. Always the exchange between left and right, up and down, bright and dark, in and out, success and failure.
Being alone is the crucible where your true self is forged. It's a place where the comforting noise of the world fades away, leaving you exposed, raw, and vulnerable. In this space, there's no one to distract you from the truths you've been avoiding, no comforting lies to shield you from your deepest fears. But this isolation is not your enemy. It is your greatest ally. It is the fire that tempers your soul, the darkness that sharpens your senses, the silence that forces you to confront what you've been running from all your life. When you stand alone, the world seems vast and unforgiving. Every shadow seems to whisper of failure, every echo a reminder of past mistakes. The fears that others drown out with noise and distraction become amplified in the silence. They take on a life of their own, wrapping themselves around your thoughts, squeezing your heart until you feel you might break. But it's in these moments, when you are stripped of all pretenses, that you discover who you really are. You see, fear is not something to be avoided. It's a challenge, a test, a force that, when faced, transforms you. Fear is the crucible of growth. And when you stand alone in the darkness, you have no choice but to face it. You might tremble, you might falter, but you will not fall. Because in solitude you find the strength that has always been within you. The strength that is so often buried beneath layers of comfort, distraction, and the expectations of others. When you are alone, there's no one to catch you if you fall, no one to guide you when you're lost. But this is where you learn the most important lesson of all. You don't need anyone else to save you. You are your own hero, your own savior. You learn to pick yourself up when you stumble, to navigate the darkest paths by the light of your own will. Every time you face a fear and conquer it, you grow stronger, more resilient, more unstoppable. Being alone is not a sign of weakness, but of immense power. It's a declaration to the world that you are enough, that you have what it takes to stand on your own 2 feet, to fight your own battles, to carve out your own destiny. The world will try to tell you otherwise. It will try to convince you that you need others to survive, that you must conform, blend in, become part of the herd. But the truth is, those who stand alone are the ones who truly live. They are the ones who experience the full spectrum of life, who taste the bitter and the sweet, who feel the pain and the joy in their purest forms. In your solitude, you become attuned to the subtleties of your own mind. You learn to listen to the whispers of your soul, to understand the fears that once controlled you, and to transform them into fuel for your journey. You become the master of your own destiny, the architect of your own future. The fears that once seemed insurmountable become mere stepping stones on your path to greatness. But make no mistake, this path is not easy. It is not for the faint of heart. There will be times when the darkness seems too overwhelming, when the silence feels like it will consume you. There will be moments when you question your own strength, when you wonder if you can go on. But it's in these moments, when you are pushed to your limits, that you discover the depth of your resilience. You find that you are capable of far more than you ever imagined, that your spirit is unbreakable, that your will is indomitable. Being alone is not about isolating yourself from the world. It's about finding the strength within yourself to face the world on your own terms. It's about embracing the silence, the darkness, the fears, and using them to forge a path that is uniquely yours. It's about becoming the person you were always meant to be. Strong, fearless, and unstoppable. So stand tall in your solitude. Embrace the darkness that surrounds you. Face your fears with the knowledge that they are not there to break you, but to make you stronger. Know that every moment of isolation, every fear you conquer, is a step towards becoming the person you were destined to be. You are not alone because you have no one. You are alone because you are strong enough to be. And that is your greatest power.
You know, the hardest thing to get people about success, the hardest thing is to start. Start, man.
Every morning when you get up, say over and over to yourself, do it now, do it now, do it now. I do it now, do it now. Whenever you have this tendency to procrastinate, program your subconscious mind with this automatic conditioned command, do it now, do it now, do it now. The key to overcoming procrastination is to develop a sense of urgency. Be the kind of person who gets things done quickly. Be the kind of person who launches fast on a task.
5 choices, in our life. We can be bad at what we do. We can be average at what we do. We can be good at what we do, or we can be excellent, or we can be elite. And everybody has a choice as to what they want to do and how they want to do that. But if you're going to be excellent or elite, you got to do special things. You have to have special intensity, you have to have special focus, you have to have a special commitment and drive and passion to do things at a high level and a high standard all the time. It doesn't matter what God-given ability that you have, that probably can make you good. But without the rest of it, I'm not sure you ever get excellent or elite. It's someone so focused on the future that they don't just live in now. If you're looking over your shoulder over who's coming after you, you can never leave a legacy. In order to leave a legacy, you got to be the one looking forward. You got to see the future and predict the things that come, and come off of mute and echo your voice into the future by what you invest in others. It's about your DNA. What are you investing in?
Remember that it's not the things that happen to you. Like, you might not be able to control everything that happens to you, right? It's inevitable. Things are going to happen that are out of your control. But the one thing that is always in your control is how you respond, your perspective, your mindset. And that's the thing that you need to be taking responsibility for and taking accountability for, is how you respond to these things that happen to you in life. Things are going to happen. You're going to be hurt. You're going to get faced with adversity. You're going to be heartbroken, right? You might lose somebody. Whatever it may be, there's so many things that will happen to you that aren't in your control. And you need to focus on responding in the way that is going to help you, that is going to nurture you and help you move forward instead of keeping you stuck.
Don't really let anybody take away that dream from you. Nurture it, water it like you water the flowers. Even if you find only one person in this world that will accept, embrace, and support your dreams, find that person and dream big, because you can make it.
The goal that you seek, or the prize that you're seeking, is in the work that you're not doing. No matter where your goal is in terms of its height or how delusional it may seem, you're still gonna aim for it and figure out whether or not you'll get there later.
Something in you has to wake up. And usually the only person that can wake it up is you. But if you don't have a little flame, you're done. I can't light it for you. And that's the harsh reality of this life that I want to get across so fucking bad. You have to explore, examine the insides of yourself. And what do you really want out of life?
Thoughts are the language of the brain, and feelings are the language of the body. And how you think and how you feel creates your state of being. So if you think insecure thoughts, in a matter of seconds, you are going to feel insecure. Brain is monitoring how you're feeling, and you think more insecure thoughts, which then makes you feel more insecure. And the repetition of that cycle conditions the body to become the mind of insecurity. And whenever you say, I am anything, you are commanding your mind and body into a destiny.
Even if you're tired, you can still go to the gym. Even if you're annoyed with your spouse, you can still speak in a manner that's loving. Even if you don't feel like doing that hard work, you can still push yourself to do it. Your feelings aren't a choice. Your behavior and your thoughts are always a choice.
Life is about loss. As time goes on, we lose fights, we lose people we love, we lose our hair, and then we lose our life. You know? It's all a loss. But from all these losses, we learn so much.
When everything is falling apart in your life, when people are leaving you, when people are betraying you, when people are not coming through with their word, are you still going to put in the work? Are you still going to execute? Are you still going to do today what you told yourself that you would do yesterday?
Seeing opportunities instead of seeing punishments, and instead of seeing downturns in your life, seeing opportunities, it's just going to have such a much better impact on the way where you get to.
Hold a constant vision of what it is you want to achieve, see it accomplished, and go all out. Find a way to win. In spite of the setbacks, in spite of the disappointments, in spite of your failures. I tell people, fail your way to success. I have a saying, is life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up.
I'm continuing to take the steps each and every day and move in the direction that I know is aligned with, my calling and my truth, then I know that I'll get to where I need to be when I need to be there, right? And all that's doing is distracting you from moving in the direction that you need to be moving into, and the more you focus on what everybody else is doing, the more you're going to continue to make decisions that aren't aligned with what you should be doing.
I firmly believe that no matter who you are, no matter where you are, or what you come from, we're all fighting a similar battle within us. Those silent battles. Whether those battles are against our parents, against ourselves, against the job that we feel we have no choice but to work. Regardless of that battle, I believe it's ultimately rooted in fear. The fear of wanting to go for something greater, but failing. Or the fear of going for something greater, succeeding, but not being able to handle its success. Regardless of where your fear is rooted, the most important thing is to attempt it. Attempt the great. Attempt the impossible. Because it's far better to say I tried and failed than to say I never tried at all.
Most people don't create the time, the space in order to converse with themselves, in order to think, in order to get to know who they are. Know thyself. If you know yourself, you know your tendencies, you know your habits, you know your behaviors, you know what you're good at, you're bad at, what's your weakness, what's your strength. You can develop a strategy, a plan to build yourself up. If you don't know who you are, you don't know where you're going, you're going to end up in limbo.
90% of your overthinking will disappear when you realize that the certainty you want can only be found within you. Stop chasing the illusion of external control. Stop trying to micromanage how life unfolds around you. And instead, show up for yourself and start acting like a person that you're proud to be. Define who you are, what you stand for, and simply make decisions that align with your values. No amount of obsessive overthinking or external validation will ever give you the certainty that you want. It can only be found in honoring who the hell you are.
So guys, if you have a dream, if you have a goal in life that you want to accomplish, I can tell you, hard work, dedication, determination. Always have that dream. Continue to have that vision, because when you continue to propel forward, you will see accomplishments. Take small steps, and sooner or later, they will continue to grow and grow and grow into bigger accomplishments. So guys, believe in yourself, stay strong, Stay focused. No matter what, the bad times don't last forever. If someone tells you you can't, you prove to them that you can. If someone fires you from a job, you say, you know what? When one door closes, another door opens. Always believe in yourself. You are the best motivator. Don't try to be like anyone else. Live your dreams, live your thoughts, and live your ideas.
And here's my best advice. Welcome all experiences. You never know which one is going to turn everything on. Don't put up the walls, the same wall that keeps out disappointment keeps out happiness. Take down the walls. Go for the experience. Let it teach you.
You've quit way too early every single time. Everything gets the hardest right before the finish line. But you've never let yourself push past to even and see it. You need to stop looking at other people. The grass is not greener. There's no shiny ball that has some better reward or better opportunity. The problem is you. Why do you keep giving up, jumping to something else? Where's the discipline? Where's the resilience? Where's the control? You are the only thing that you can control in this world, and you've given up that?
If you can't control your own brain and your brain controls you, you're fucked. You got to tell your brain where you want to go and how you want to go and how you want to get there. You got to control it. If not, it's over. There's 24 hours in the day where you're alone in this brain, and your brain is talking to you in all kind of ways, and it wants to control you and pull you in these different pockets.
You think that everything the mind tells you, I need to follow. That means freedom. No, for us, it's the other way around. To learn and not follow what the mind tells you. This is the first step towards freedom.
What do I want to do for the rest of my life? If this question leaves you feeling stuck because you're not sure what your future self is going to want, then try asking, what do I feel inspired to explore more deeply at this point in my life? This question removes the pressure of trying to plan your whole life from a single moment, so you can move forward, free to honor the ever-changing nature of who you are.
Failure is not the opposite of success, it's a part of it. And the reason that I'm saying that is because problems are a part of the journey. Opposition are a part of the journey, right? Adversity is a part of the journey. Like, it's all a part of development and growth as a person.
Instead of what if, try why not. What if is an excuse to avoid taking action. It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be scary. Use your fear as fuel. Instead of letting what if hold you back, let why not propel you forward. Life is too short for hesitation. Doubt less, do more.
You must persevere. The only weapon that the enemy has is your own doubt. There is no real threat outside of your own mind, because at the end of the day, you're the one who gets to choose your own fate. So you can let the enemy manipulate you by telling you that you're wasting your time and that there's no point and you probably will never succeed. Or you can stare it dead in the eye and call its bluff. And in that moment, you will watch it crumble as it has nothing else to stand on. Through the rest of your journey, remind yourself of this.
Just keep stacking days. Just keep stacking days. As long as you keep stacking days, I promise you, you will see the change, but everything that you want is on the other side of hard.
Half the year is gone. What stages in your life, in your goals, are you closer to at this point in the year? And which are you stuck in that are exactly the same? And what do you have to do to change that?
Consuming our mind every single day with worries, my friend, is a disservice to your energy, to your gift, to your potential, to your mission, to yourself. Because all that energy your mind has, the ideas that could flow to you, the solutions, it's a missed opportunity because you're swimming in worries. Why worry that much? But this is a practice. We often forget that developing a positive mind, we don't just have a positive mind. Some of us are hardwired a little bit differently, yes, but it's a practice. It's something we do every single day. We wake up and we look and we place meaning into life. We don't wait for meaning to come to us like the wind. No, we place meaning with intention into the things that we do.
You're only excited about the outcome of something and not the process of doing it. You shouldn't do it because the outcome's uncertain. So you have to really enjoy who you're becoming, what you're learning, what you're getting out of it, not just the actual outcome of making money or selling your business.
You losing. And you're not losing because you're a loser. You losing because you focusing on losing. That's all you focused on. What do they think? Believe in you if you don't believe in you, and you losing. And you losing because you're overthinking everything you do because you got to get their approval to do it. So I need you to start doing what winners do. Winners focus on winning. Winners focus on scoring. Winners focus on dominating. Winners focus on showing up. Winners don't care what losers think about them. And winners don't care what other winners think about them. All they care about is winning. So do me a favor, you a winner. Start saying what you know and what you understand. And I promise you, if you start focusing on winner, you're gonna win. Losers lose and winners win. It's time for you to win.
Here was the best promise my mentor ever gave me. He said, Mr. Rohn, if you will change, everything will change for you. Wow, I took that to heart. And sure enough, the more I changed for the better, the more I changed from having a poor day to a good day, from lack of discipline to discipline, everything changed.
That thing that's hard to do discourages a whole bunch of other, all by itself, because the person who's willing to suffer the longest wins. And so we choose things that are incredibly hard to do. And you've heard me say pain and suffering a lot. And it's actually a positive attribute. People who can suffer are ultimately the ones that are the most successful.
I don't know what your future is, but if you're willing to take the harder way, the more complicated one, the one with more failures at first than successes, the one that has ultimately proven to have more meaning, more victory, more glory, then you will not regret it. Whatever you choose for a career path, remember the struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose.
Secret of the age is that you have the power to do more than you could ever begin to imagine. Don't underestimate yourself. You don't know enough about yourself to become a cynic. And so you've got to challenge yourself to access that power that you have within you. You're more than a conqueror.
You can hope, you can wish, you can dream, you can say you're gonna, but the reality is until you start stacking wins day by day by day by day, nothing's going to happen. The game is played one day at a time. And if you have the capacity to wake up today, go through the entire day, do everything you're supposed to do, and execute on those for one day, that means you can do it again the next day. And that means you can do it again the next day. You have exactly what's required to win at the highest level you could ever possibly win at. It's about stacking wins in a cumulative fashion over the course of time. And when you do that, winning is undeniable.
You need to make it a habit to start every fucking day validating yourself, cheering for yourself, because life is a marathon. And this might be a challenging leg where you're like, I'm just going to throw in the towel. I'm not going to do that thing. Hell no. If you're standing in front of that mirror, you deserve to feel the support and empowerment and encouragement that you need. You are doing so much every single day that you don't give yourself credit for.
A lot of folk won't let you forget what you used to do or what you have done, what mistakes you've made. All of us have made some mistakes in life. All of us have done some things that if we had them to do over again, we wouldn't do it again. There are a lot of things that if I had it to do over again, if I knew then what I know now, I would have done it differently. Well, it didn't happen that way. Oh, you don't want me to live that down? How you want to keep on putting that in my face about what I did? Guess what? I'm not interested. That's what I did then. Won't do it today, so you're picking on an innocent man.
The thing that's so interesting about being alive is that you're all in. No matter what you do, you're all in. This is going to kill you. So I think you might as well play the most magnificent game you can while you're waiting.
You have to start living your life in expectation. You have got to start expecting great things to happen for you in order for it to happen. If you live your life in expectations, that's what happens to you. If you live your life in despair, that's what happens to you. I'll never be rich. You won't. You won't. The moment you change the frequency that your tower emits, different things come back to you.
You have this kind of convoluted, limiting belief about why you can't do something right now that's this your own BS story you keep telling yourself. How about you just drop that story? How about you just decide it's a lie? Every day, some of us are killing ourselves with the shame we carry from something we've done, some humiliation, some fear. We put this gun to our head every day that tells us we're not enough. We're not strong enough, pretty enough, smart enough. You do it over and over and over again, and there's a better way forward. You can put those things down in your life. You could decide today that you were born to do something great. You could set aside this weapon that you keep using against yourself to hold you back from your joy, from your passion, from your achievement, from all the goodies in life. You could decide today, just intentionally, to set this weapon down, whatever it is.
I've looked in the mirror every morning and asked myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I am about to do today? And whenever the answer has been no for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. There is no reason not to follow your heart.
If a person would sit down and let their body relax, totally relax, and then start to visualize in their mind, see themselves the way they want to see themselves, see how you'd like to live your life, see yourself living it that way. Now understand that that's a picture in your mind, and then take that picture and describe it, write it out in the present tense. Start to read it and read it and read it, and read it every day. Carry it around and keep reading it. The one point that all the great teachers all down through history have all agreed on, they've been in complete unanimous agreement on it, we become what we think about. Now, it may be fantasy at first, it might even appear to us as being a lie, but if you read it often enough, you'll start to believe it.
Hardest part about change is not making the same choice as you did the day before. And the moment you decide to make a different choice, you're going to feel uncomfortable because you're stepping from the known into the unknown.
See, you can do anything. You can get up any hour, read any book, take any class, make any change, develop any skill, do any discipline. I mean, you can do it all. When this how and the why, or when the why starts to grow, the how gets simple.
Most challenges, opposition, adversity that we encounter are internal. Even though on the surface it looks to be external. Because when you come up against something, whether it be a person, situation, or circumstance, in perception, our perspective will go to a space and place that is external. When the course and the path to victory is internal. Meaning we possess everything we need in order to be victorious over the things that we encounter. But we look at problems, situations, circumstances, adversities as something to be external, when really it's something that's internal because we possess everything we already need in order to get through it.
There's a peculiar magic in realizing you're not the same person who started the journey. It's not a loss of who you were. Rather, it's an evolution into the person you were always meant to become. Embrace the transformation.
Fear is a mile wide and an inch deep. And so it looks like this ocean that you're going to step into and drown. But as soon as you step into it, you realize it was not that deep at all, and you can keep walking through it.
Face your fears, whatever they are. The fear that we might not do a good job. The fear that it might not turn out as we hope it would. The fears that are lurking there, some that have come and have been there even maybe since our childhood. Life is consisted of both fear and faith. Faith, of course, is the ability to overcome your fears. But what you have to do in terms of your fears about perhaps your own inadequacy, not feeling strong enough at the moment, you just have to face those fears. You just have to go to work on it.
The pursuit of your goals will rarely be easy. You're going to feel discomfort, frustration, and self-doubt most of the time. But instead of getting discouraged, understand that there's growth in the struggle. You can't become someone you've never been by doing the things you've always done. Be proud of the effort you're putting in. Be patient with the results, because it's only a matter of time before you come out on top.
It's a part of life. You know, we were made to evolve and grow, and that means you're gonna outgrow people. That means you're gonna outgrow situations and places and things, and that is okay.
Most people will not understand your obsession, your drive, and your determination. Success is a lonely journey. That's just a reality. And most people are not going to understand why you're so driven, why you're so obsessed. And if you try and make them understand, you're going to end up frustrated. The best advice I can tell you is go on the journey by yourself. It is the best journey, man. Leveling up, becoming the best version of yourself is the most awesomest journey you will ever go on. But it's a journey that you will probably go on by yourself.
You always have to be the person who roots for you before everyone else does. And it's usually a single clap in the auditorium for a very long period of time. It is a slow clap that's just you rooting for you.
Sometimes sitting there thinking about the life that you want to live and the person you want to be and the simply isn't enough. If thinking about all the things that you want in your life isn't enough to get you going, why don't you sit there and think about the things that you don't want? All the feelings you don't want to experience. All the pain you don't want to feel. If you just can't visualize the bright future ahead of you, why don't you sit there and contemplate all the darkness that you're going to be surrounded by if you don't do what you need to do? Like sitting on your deathbed wishing you could do it all over again differently, but you can't. Wishing you had done what you need to do now when it's too late to do it. Ask yourself the question, what does the future look like if I don't do what I know I need to do?
Once you take that first step, you've looked the beast in the face, and you'll start progressing, not linearly, but exponentially in speed. So what's cool is that it doesn't really matter how small that first step is, because it'll start doubling, and anything that doubles grows unbelievably quickly. And so that's a very useful thing to know too.
I think the bigger question is, do you know yourself? You know, I think like there's unlimited people who are successful and happy that got straight A's, and there's unlimited people who are successful and happy who got D's and F's. The question is, who are you? Which version of the game are you? What do you like? Who do you want to be? And I think that's what you need to focus on.
You cannot wish for a strong character and an easy life. Each is the price of the other. What if what you're going through isn't hard? What if you're just sensitive?
At some point, you have to forget what other people think about you. Nothing you do has to make sense to anyone else. Your dreams don't have to align with what others think is best for you, because you're the one who has to live with the consequences of your actions. Start prioritizing your happiness above being a people pleaser. It's your turn to be the main character of your story.
This is it. This moment, that is it. No need jumping in the past, no need looking for anything in the future. You will not get more than you have right now. It's just here.
When you feel as though you cannot go one step further, when your body is tired and all you want to do is drop everything and give up, remember that this moment precisely is the moment the weak fall and the strong prevail.
To find meaning in life is a responsibility. It's not a present, it's not a gift, it's not fortune, it's not chance, it's not random. It's a responsibility. Every single thing that happens to you in your life, you either look and find meaning in it,
or you don't look and you don't find any meaning in it, and it will just be suffering to you.
The thing about life is that it's not a thing. Life is a series of moments. The problem is that most of us are too busy to notice these moments as they come. We are not present, we are preoccupied. Marcus Aurelius contrasts this with the person who is able to be like the rock that the waves crash against, but eventually fall still. That's what presence is. Slowing down, being where your feet are, being in the moment. Greatness, happiness, contentment, these things are what life can be, only if we choose to experience them, only if we slow down, only if we show up and stay in the moment.
Performance without a purpose is one hell of a skill to have. No one there cheering you on, no race to prepare for, no finish line, no glory, no nothing. And yet, you still perform.
You're doing the right thing. You're doing everything necessary for your vision, for your dreams, for your goals. You're a good person, you work hard, but it just seems like you can't win, like you can't catch a break. Bad thing after bad thing happens. But if you just keep believing in the vision, if you do not give up, if you are optimistic about every single situation, eventually you will catch a break. Eventually, everything will start going your way.
Yes, you will get out of this. You're getting out of this. I don't know who told you differently. You're getting out of this. But right now, you got to go through this to get out of this, to grow out of this, to help everyone else who is going through this. That's why you're going through this. Focus on the courage, the strength, the power, the ambition, the might, the light that you have to get through this. Focus on placing your attention on what is the good in what I'm going through.
If you're avoiding the thing you're afraid to do, let your heart lead the way. It's so easy to live life stuck in our heads, but that's where the negative voice and fear live. We overthink everything, and we believe in the worst case scenario. But have you heard the voice of your heart? It's pure, it's loving, it's vibrant. That's because there is no space for fear in your heart. It only speaks of what's best for you. When you let your heart lead the way, fear becomes nothing, and you become everything.
If you don't know what to pursue in life right now, pursue yourself. Pursue becoming the healthiest, happiest, most healed, most present, most confident version of yourself. Then the right path will reveal itself.
It is tedious, it is painful, it is lonely, because it is a game of just moving the ball down the field inch by inch by inch. It's not glamorous, it's lonely. As you start changing, everything around you starts changing, people around you start, like it's not even fun in the beginning. And so you'd either have to have an incredible amount of hope or a ridiculous amount of inspiration and delusion, or you have to be in so much pain that the alternative to continuing this pain that you're in is to try something different because it's the only thing that might be slightly less painful than what you're doing.
Sometimes you just have to let time do its thing. It's hard sitting in uncertainty, but clarity often comes from experience, not thinking and speculating. It's okay to feel lost. You're not falling behind, living life wrong, or missing out on anything. Life wouldn't be the adventure that it is if you already knew everything. So don't give up now.
Only a matter of choice. You choose your fate, not your circumstances. So will you choose to be remembered as someone who simply did not have it in them, who wasn't strong enough to get it done? Or will you choose to prevail and inspire the generations that will come after you? They are counting on you. The choice is yours.
So start policing up here. Watch what you're thinking. Start thinking more positive thoughts. I can do it. I'm gonna do it. I don't care how I feel. I'm getting this thing done. Because when you change your thoughts, those thoughts change the actions that you take. And those actions that you take start to create a life that you love.
We have two primary choices in life. We can either accept conditions as they exist, or we can take the responsibility to change them. See, a lot of people want to exempt themselves from taking responsibility. All they want to do is talk about the problem. Every time you see them, they'll tell you their story over and over and over and over again. No, no. You want to take responsibility for your life. I got me here, I can get me out of this. And I'm getting out. I'm not going to be a volunteer victim.
Doing the same things, hoping to be a better person. Expecting the same things out of the externals, hoping that would be different. The only way that you can conquer yourself and to move past this is the renewing of one's mind.
In order for a man to gain his life, he must lose his life. So you've got to be willing to die to who you are now, to give birth to who you are to become.
Understand just how hard it is to work every single day to try to be great. Everybody is excited in the beginning. Like New Year, everybody started in January, jams packed every year. You get to February and March, habits matter. Habits matter. Principles matter. How you view what you're doing and trying to accomplish matters.
If you want to achieve success, you're going to have to pay the price. And it won't be cheap. It'll be tireless nights, long days, isolation, loneliness, tribulation, heartaches, headaches, and a lot of pain. But on the other side of pain is pleasure. On the other side of pain is success.
Those who have left their mark in this world believe that they were chosen for something great. And a lot of us think that it's just the special ones who get to live out their dreams. It's not those who are special. It's those who believe. It's not those who are magically chosen. It's those who choose to be chosen.
Epictetus's question was, how much longer are you going to wait to demand the best of yourself? We all know we have potential. We all know we have things we need to stop doing. We all know we have things that we should start doing, but we tell ourselves we'll do it later. But will you?
So tell yourself the truth about the situation that you're in. That's what we need to do. And it should hurt a little bit, by the way. It should hurt a little bit. There should be aspects of your life that you know you can improve upon. That should hurt a little bit. Here's the cool thing. Take ownership of those things and guess what? It doesn't hurt at all. Now guess who's in control? You are. But if you're having trouble finding discipline, start by telling yourself the truth about what's going on.
You can have what you want in 5 years, but there's two conditions. You have to know what it is, and you have to aim at it. Figure out what you want, write it down. Figure out what you could do to start moving towards that. Develop a vision, and you have to do that in dialogue with yourself, right? It's like, if I could have what I wanted, what would satisfy me? And you might think, well, I could never get that. And I could say, well, maybe not, but I'll tell you one thing, man. You can move towards it. And I know almost all the pleasure is in the moving toward.
Let me tell you a secret. No one does when they begin. Ideas don't come out fully formed. They only become clear as you work on them. You just have to get started. The idea of a single eureka moment is a dangerous lie. It makes us feel inadequate because we feel like we haven't had ours yet. And it prevents people with seeds of good ideas from ever getting started in the first place. Be prepared to be misunderstood. Anyone working on a big vision is going to get called crazy, even if you end up right. In our society, we often don't take on big things because we're so afraid of making mistakes that we ignore all the things wrong today if we do nothing.
People should know that you never will be able to go through life without failures. Failures make us learn. Failures make you stronger. Pain makes you stronger. So I think all of that is good.
Write everything you want on a piece of paper. Everything. I don't care. Use your wildest imagination. If you can think it, you can achieve it. Write it on a piece of paper. Read it every morning and every night. Come back here 1 year from today and see how much of that stuff then came true.
It's easier to live a life you hate than it is to live a life you love. Doing what you love can be hard because we live in a world that encourages the opposite. But that doesn't mean it's right for you. No one can decide what struggle or success looks like in someone else's life. You get to choose that. And if you don't, then society will decide for you.
People will belittle your plan. People will tell you that you have the wrong vision. People will tell you that it will not work. But here's the thing. It's not their vision. It's your vision. It wasn't given to them, but there will be people who will try to tear it down, who will tell you you don't have what it takes, who will tell you that this is impossible, who will tell you that you need to be realistic. But nothing great has ever happened from being realistic in their own hearts. Small minds cannot see a big plan.
The higher you fly, the deeper you fall. Okay? So if you want to fly high, do it. But if you fly high without somebody telling you before you're starting the flight that there will also come the descent, then I think it's kind of blind. Just keep it in mind that there is something in our lifetime which is always balancing out.
This idea of being happy is this concept that people have been sold, right? That life is about happiness. But what if life wasn't about happiness? What if life is about experiencing every aspect and every emotion that life has? Wouldn't you want to experience the full set and range of emotions that life has to offer you? The sadness, the heartbreaks, the joy.
When you have butterflies and you're feeling anxious and you have anxiety or nervous, that's when you're most powerful, I believe. A lot of people, instead of homing this power and using it, they allow it to just consume them. A big challenge or big pressure is like a fire. It's like a raging fire. Either you can allow this fire to consume you and just take you over completely, or you can gain control of this fire and harness it.
If you can dream it, it can potentially become yours with the right energy input, the amount of work ethic necessary, and a good attitude. Understand that you have one life. How you live it is your choice, but life will pass you by. You don't want to be the person that wakes up 30, 40, 50 years from now and regrets what they did.
You can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. That's the challenge. And of course, the other side of the coin reads, unless you change how you are, you'll always have what you got.
There are people who will want you to live in your past, about the mistakes you've made, how many times you've had failed relationships, how many times you've fallen off your bike, fallen off of goals, fallen off of your aspirations. Well, it's time for you to stop letting others dictate your pace. Instead of being worried about, concerned about, or fearful about failure, or even consumed by the fact that you have a past, you've already surpassed your past. You've lived days past it, so you might as well make the days count. Now that you are here, start counting now.
You are going to regret not taking the hard road sooner. I know you have big ambitions and you want to do these big things, and that's great. But all those things that you don't want to do, all that work that you're avoiding is going to be the reason why you don't get there. What you fail to realize is that if you avoid the work, you avoid the result.
If you're going to build anything great in your life, it's going to be through force. It's going to be through complete, rigid dedication and discipline to move forward. And when the people come and they get in your ear and they say, take it easy, you're working too hard, you got to learn to go with the flow, just know that if you listen to those people, you will be exactly like those people.
And every day, the same answer came back to me. Do you want to be on your deathbed knowing that you could, but you didn't? So why do you care about what people are thinking when they're not trying to go where you're trying to go?
What's gonna happen when you get to the end of your life, or you get to a time where this is over? You're gonna have the greatest poison in your soul. You know what that is? Regret. I wish I would have did more. I wish I would have been there more. And you will never live in peace by living in regret. So I want to tell all of you, when it comes to success, make sure you make it holistic.
I may not know now, but one day I will, and
That's what faith is at its core. I may not understand right now, but I trust that one day I will. And it's not my job to try to understand everything. It's my job to continue to make the next step. Continue to just focus on this moment that I have in front of me.
Doesn't matter what mistakes you made, it's about the decisions you make right now. I'm going to win. I'm going to go after everything that I've ever wanted to be, everything I've ever wanted to do, and I will not allow anybody to say my W-H-E-N win. What I'm looking for is when am I going to W-I-N win? When am I going to get my second W-I-N-D win? It comes when you decide that it's not about what I haven't done, it's about what I can be, what I can do. Your past is simply more ammunition for you to get started.
You must get excited. And not just the false enthusiasm of just pure positive thinking. You've got to get excited over some very basic things. One is, get excited over your ability to make yourself do the necessary things. Because discipline is major step one toward personal progress. And anytime a person wishes to, they can make major changes in their life, personally and socially and financially. It doesn't ever have to be the same after today. No telling what you could do today if you really wish to.
I want to be the one that says, I'm going to do it anyway. I know I don't feel good today, but I'm going to go out there and I'm going to prove to myself that even on days that it doesn't feel right, I push myself. The only way to gain confidence in yourself is to build something. It's not to wait for it to happen.
Whenever you think you can't, the confidence comes from the thing that you built. You must build belief. You must build confidence. It can't be like, hey, I'm gonna knock that shit out. You gotta look over here and say, I can knock shit out. It's belief, and it's built on what you put in to yourself.
Get up, move towards that challenge, whatever that challenge is. Move towards that challenge and go attack it. And you may be successful and you may not be successful, but you will be better. And the next challenge, you're gonna be more prepared for. And you're gonna fail, and you're gonna fail, and you're gonna fail, and you're gonna fail, and then you're gonna win.
Don't accept that fact right now and you just continue to try to do things the easy way. When you eventually accept this reality of life, all you're going to be doing is left wondering, where would you be today if you had just taken the hard road sooner?
Faith is knowing a door is going to open for your life that don't even exist yet. Faith is knowing that the only possibilities that exist are the ones you create. I need you to believe with your faith. I need you to know if I'm doing the right things, if I'm showing up, if I'm watering the seed, if I'm taking care of my business, if I'm taking care of myself, then at the right time, maybe not your time, but at the perfect time that's meant for your life, that harvest, that crop, that dream, that vision, that purpose, that goal, that breakthrough is going to happen.
You see, what you are is a living testament that someone can become great. If you don't believe you're great, you don't know what you're looking at. You've already survived every one of your bad days. You're a survivor. And because you're a survivor, it makes you a hero or heroine in your own story. And if you don't think that that's big enough, if you were to look around and look at the family members who've been watching you, who are amazed by the fact that you didn't throw in the towel when you were down, when you were out, when you were losing, it's because you're not a quitter. You never were born to be one. And if you're going to quit anything, quit looking at your own past.
I never like to look back because it just, there's really not much in it for me, right? It's just, I always like to look forward. Do I want to look out the windshield or do I want to look through the rear I rather look forward because I know where I'm going then, rather than always looking at the back.
If you think the price of winning is too high, wait till you get the bill from regret. And that bill from regret is generation. And the only way that bill gets paid off is you got to be willing to make the hardest decisions.
The energy it requires to start doing something is way more than the energy required to continue doing the thing. And that the beginning of doing anything results in the lowest amount of reward, both internal and external, than when you've been doing it for ages.
The only reason why you're not living the life that you actually want to live is because you keep on feeding the life that you don't want to live. Day by day, keep on feeding the life that you don't want to live.
That's a lesson that people need to hear and learn. It's so important because everybody just wants to be comfortable. Everybody wants to sit on the couch. I don't want to go outside, it's cold. I don't want to do this, it's hot. Like, you've got to do things that you don't want to do because you show your body that your mind is the boss. It's telling your body what to do, and then you have control.
You got to do something, man. Right? If years and years pass and you're just the same dude, then you're not really living in a way. I kind of feel like you're just being pushed through life.
I think people are where they deserve to be. And if you look at what they did over the last 10 years, their life is going to look exactly what it should look like. If you can't become aware of your own internal dialogue, and you can't start to have control over your own internal dialogue, and you can't start to tell the bitch voice that you have in your head to sit the down and shut up, you're going to have a very hard time making any year your year.
In failure and in suffering, all the answers are in there. All the answers to all the test questions. The test is your life. All the answers are in there. You don't have to live in suffering and pain and failure all the time. You have to learn, I need to visit it.
I'm not going to negotiate with my goal. Like, I've been negotiating sometimes with my goal. The time in my life where I'm most successful, there's no negotiation.
A friendly reminder that in 3 generations, everyone who knew us will be dead, including the people whose opinions stopped you from doing what you wanted all along. Imagine that someone you know achieves every dream and hits every goal they have. Years later, they get old and die. 2 years after that, how much do you care? About as much as everyone else will if you accomplish your goals and dreams. Do it for you.
Consistency, 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 man. That's the name of the game, bro. Don't get much simpler than that. If you keep going every single day and don't stop, they ain't ready for prime time. They ain't trying to really get right. Grind every day, one foot in front of the other, bro. And I promise you, you're gonna be lapping these folks, bro. Give it a year. Watch what happens.
Just do. You're living. How do you want to live? How do you want to die? How do you want to be remembered? That's it.
Nobody can destroy you if you won't let them.
Whenever I get to a low point where I think, why do I even bother? I just remind myself, this is where most people stop, and this is why they don't win.
Gotta fight. It's hard. It's hard as You're gonna have days where you don't want to do anything. You're gonna have days where getting out of bed is the hardest motherfucking thing you ever did in your life. You gotta get the fuck up and you gotta get in the fucking fight.
Get serious. That's number one. I don't know any substitute for that. You've really got to get serious. You don't have to be grim, but you must be serious. Go from average to fortune, you must get serious. And you must get serious about 2 very important things. Number one is setting your goals and where you want to go. Designing the next 5, the next 10 years is so vitally important. What do you want to do economically? Where do you want to go? What do you want to be?
You got to keep working. Your time's going to come. Trust me.
Just keep working. You're not getting what you want, keep working. You are getting what you want, keep working.
You got to work. Your time is going to happen. You're here for a reason. But you got to be ready, because if you're not, it's on you.
The reinvention occurs in the micro actions that you're taking every single day. The tiny little things that perhaps no one even notices that are creating muscle memory around new behaviors that perhaps are very uncomfortable to you. Tiny little things repeated over time is what produces dramatic change.
I'll get to it tomorrow. I'm like, who promised you that? Right? I'll get to it a month from now. I'm like, who promised you that? Right? Because life changes so quick. We live our lives and we feel as if we're promised something, right? But when you think about it, it's like when we try to control things. But when you really think about the macro of life and the grand scheme of life, we really don't have any control. We can control what we possess: emotions, attitude, thought process, perspective, how we speak, how we respond. But just life in general, we have no control of that.
How bad do you want this? If it's as bad as you want to live, breathe, or sleep, I can work with you. Most people don't want it that badly. You know how to do it. You know exactly how to be you or how to be me. You don't want to do it. And you are willing to strip yourself down to nothing and give everything. That's who I want to work with. To get there, luck ain't gonna happen. You have to put yourself in that situation, man. It takes a lot of work.
Stay focused. Don't listen to nobody. What's on your mind, just do it. Because what's destined for you, you gonna get it.
The man who never fell has no glory. The man who fell and got back up, that's where his glory is. The man who fell 20 times and got up 21 times, that man has even greater glory. That man has more courage, way more courage than the guy who was so strong from birth that he never fell. There's no glory in that.
That's your moment. It's not that all is lost. When you're feeling the most trapped and down and nothing can go right, I feel like those are the moments that define you, that are like, what am I gonna do now? And it's always the feeling when you're getting ready to, people give up right before they get what they've always wanted to get. People quit and they give up. And I will not be the person who quit before I got what I wanted.
Be careful when it comes to measuring your life against another. What you have to realize that there is no one who's able to go through life on the straight and narrow, where there are no problems, no challenges, no difficulties. Everyone has a setback that gives them the resiliency needed in order to step forward. Length and distance are the only measurements when it comes to a measuring stick. Sometimes it can feel like the length of time that a trial comes, a problem comes, blessings come, or a check comes doesn't last as long as it should. That's why you have to think about the distance. Not every gift, not every reward, not every great thing comes immediately. Some of them come in the end.
Reggie Jackson struck out 2,600 times in his career, the most in the history of baseball. But you don't hear about the strikeouts. People remember the home runs. Fall forward. Thomas Edison conducted 1,000 failed experiments. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Because the 1,001st was the light bulb. Fall forward.
Growth is a beautiful process. Yes, it might bring pain. Yes, you might feel overwhelmed. Yes, you might have some fear, right? Some insecurity, some anxiety, right? But that is all a part of growth, and it's not something to be frowned upon. And when you take a step back and you understand that all these things that I'm dealing with are actually a part of growth, then you can start embracing them as that.
Create something big and lasting. It's going to take time. It's going to entail some pain, some sacrifice. And what you need to do is you need to change your whole assessment of what is pleasurable. What is pleasurable is actually accomplishing something that you set out to actually reach your goals, to actually take the time to make something that's meaningful to you.
Work hard. You can choose how fast you get to that distance. You can accelerate your greatness by taking over 1 inch at a time, one goal, one moment, 1 second, one breath, one at a time, 1 centimeter, 1 meter. Everyone has to go through life ups and downs in order to become something. And you must embrace it and understand that what you must face you. You are developing, you are changing, you are evaluating everything day after day. You're smarter than you were days ago, years ago, months ago. You are not measured by others. You are measured by the goals and potential within. That's why you got to dig deep. if you can pull out what's been left in, you'll discover that you're not to be measured by others. You become the standard.
See, look, one thing I want you to promise me is that no matter how long it takes, keep going. No matter how much it hurts, keep going. So you was placed on this earth for a reason. You weren't meant to be average. You were meant to excel. You gotta understand that this grind is meant to make you who you're supposed to be.
If you wanna give up, you can give up. This is your choice. You can do whatever you want. Your time's gonna come, but you cannot give up.
Be what it is you claim to be about. Be what it is you truly want to be. Okay? If you truly want to be successful, if you truly want to change your life, be about it today. Be about it today. And then when today's over, be about it tomorrow.
We all have fear. Everyone has fear. Fear is one of the most greatest things that you can possibly have. Fear is an instinct. Fear propels you. Fear makes you great. Fear brings you alive, doesn't it?
What would you do if you just learned today that you only had 6 months to live? What if you only had 6 months to live? What would you stop doing? What would you do more of? Who would you spend time with? Now, the answer to that question is very interesting because what it tells you is what you really value. What is really important to you?
Number one, don't run away. And number two, be honest to yourself. Those two things, you should keep them in mind. And then just put time, effort into practice, I think is the key. Step by step, build something up about yourself, about your life, about your character and personality that will give you some strong fundament in order to tackle everything that this world is going to throw at you.
Truly believe we are all equal as human beings. If we are obsessed with something and we truly pursue our passion with everything we have, regardless of anything else, if you are obsessed, work hard, put in the time, you will succeed. This is hard work. This is an obsession. Nothing can beat hard work.
The most important people in your life are the people who believe in you before you even believe in yourself. The people who see something in you before you can see it in yourself. Those people are essential to whatever it is that you want to achieve and accomplish, because there's going to be a point when you've pounded your head into a wall so many times that you're delirious, that you can't see the vision for your future, that you can't see that it is at all possible. And having those people in your life to ground you and to center you around the fact that you can do it, that you can achieve those things, that you are capable, that your potential is so much more than what you're currently doing, changes everything.
The cure for sadness isn't finding 100 different ways to be happy. It's accepting the life you're walking through for what it is and pushing through. It's believing that everything has a purpose and learning to make peace with past versions of yourself that don't align with who you've become. The pain is a prerequisite. Improve yourself as a human being. There will be many things in this life that you don't have control over, but your happiness is not one of them. Perspective is everything.
I don't care where you come from. I don't care where you were raised. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what gender you are. I don't care about any of that shit. If you do the work consistently, if you invest in yourself consistently, 1 + 1 is always going to equal 2. 2 + 2 is going to equal 4. And 10 years of motherfucking work when everybody else is partying, making excuses, doing the cool thing on the weekend is going to pay off. You can do this.
I don't care if you have to inch your way day by day. Even if you have to get down and it hurts and it's hard and nobody can see what you're really going through. If you don't quit, the pit
will become your platform.
It's not what you get that makes you valuable. It's what you become. So part of the key here is to set the kind of goals that will make something of you. Don't set them too low so that you don't have to grow and you don't have to read and you don't have to try and you don't have to stretch. Don't set them too low. And then don't sell out. Don't go for something that's going to cost you your virtue or cost you your values or sell out your principles. There's a good middle road here to follow. Goals that will inspire, goals that will help you grow, change, develop, and become better than you are.
A creative life is simply this. A creatively lived life is any life where consistently, routinely, habitually, and constantly you choose the path of curiosity over the path of fear. Not once, not twice, not a few times, but all the times. All the times. Because you're constantly going to be in these crossroads in your life, daily almost, where there's a lure of curiosity on this side and there's a kind of a roadblock of fear over here saying, take this safer path. I don't know how that one ends. So let's just continue with this. And if you keep going to the right on the fear path instead of going to the left on the curiosity path, your life gets smaller and heavier, which I know is not what you want or what anybody wants.
The greatest version of you is not the I can do anything version of you. The greatest version of you is the disciplined version of you. I'm focused. I have a prize that's in front of me. I know what I'm supposed to do, and that ain't it. I have to stay right here. It's the version of you that has parameters.
If you guys mentally believe you can do it, your body will find a way physically to make it happen. If you are short up here, it doesn't matter what you do with these guys. It will never materialize into anything. No dream will ever become a reality. Winners, the difference between them and the spectators is the winners have a belief that overrides the crowd's disbelief every single time. Their belief is so strong, even though they hit failure and they get knocked on the ass, they're finding the intestinal fortitude to stand back up again, face that same challenge, learning from the previous mistakes, and make it happen.
But the quality is to develop the quality of being unstoppable. Develop the quality of being unstoppable. Say in yourself that no matter what life throws at me, it'll never stop me. No matter how rough it gets, I will never quit, and nothing will ever stop me.
The beauty is the journey. That's the most important lesson I learned. I remember you strive so hard for a destination that you forget all the lessons you're learning. Well, you're so attached to everybody else. You're so attached to what they say, what they think. And you forget that, like, that's so fleeting and so meaningless compared to the process of getting there and the process of mastery of anything. And so we learn a lot about ourselves and a lot about life, was that the beauty is not in the final destination. That's actually the saddest part of the journey, is the end. The beauty is every step along the way.
Life is much the same. Painful experiences and challenges come to us all. But it is through these opportunities that we build character and we grow.
Remember, only the disciplined ones are free in life. Only the disciplined ones are free in life. If you are indisciplined, you are a slave to your moods. You are a slave to your passions.
When you're passionate about something, people are supportive of you, they believe in you, they want to see you win because you're still the same version of yourself. But the moment you get obsessed about something, they are threatened by you because there's a new version of you. They see the fire in your eyes, they see the chip on your shoulder, they see that this is a man who's locked onto his goals, and that man is very threatening to them. Because when you're obsessed, when you're determined, you're a very different version of yourself. That's the thing you have to understand about winners.
Don't do things just because you think you're going to get something for it. That's not why we do things. Yeah. Do what's interesting to you. Follow what's interesting. Don't worry about the outcome. We don't know. We can't predict the outcome. We can never predict the outcome. Follow your own inner guide. It directs us. It might not make sense. It might not make sense to us. Might not make sense to anyone else. Certainly won't make sense to anyone else. But it might not even make sense to us. And that's okay. It's fine. Listen to yourself. Why is it telling you this? Why is it telling you this?
The purpose of going for a hike, ironically, is not to get to the top. It's to be on the trail. And if you constantly stare at the top, you're going to be out of breath. You're going to tell yourself you have so much longer way and we're going to get there. And you're going to miss the entire point of your freaking life, which is the ride, the trail, the bridge, the mile markers, all of it. And so part of my desire to be happier is to continually remind myself, it is not about getting on that mountain, because when you get to the top of that mountain, the top of one mountain's just the bottom of another one. And if you're going up, eventually you got to come back down. Like, that is just life. If you focus on the freaking trail, whatever step you're on, and you keep reminding yourself, this is going to lead me somewhere, that is where the meaning comes in your life.
Doesn't matter where you are in life, because the great thing about life is it's always your next move. Your next move that counts. No matter where you are, you could change your life if you want to. So it's up to you.
The only thing holding you back is you. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission. You can get anything you want in this life, but you have to be willing to do what you know you need to do, despite how you feel. We all have roadblocks, but there's always someone from a worse situation who made it happen regardless. Your external obstacles are not excuses for not trying. Stop waiting. Start doing.
If we give you misery and pain and discomfort and torture, that this will help you for the rest of your life. It's almost kind of like an investment, you know, because from then on, you say to yourself, okay, now things don't bother me. You're making a big mistake to always look for comfort, because comfort is the evil of everything. Comfort is not good. Looking for the easy way out is not good. Is if you got to go and confront kind of resistance, and it's like Nietzsche said, you know, that what does not kill you will make you stronger.
When you make the decision to eliminate all the things in your life that is not adding value to your vision, you will take off faster than you could have ever imagined. When you eliminate the friends who are not adding value to your vision, you will take off. When you eliminate the content, all the things you're watching that is not getting you closer to being the version of you that is going to achieve your dreams, you will take off a lot faster. When you get rid of all the actions, all the things that you're doing in your life that is getting you nowhere, and you start taking the actions that is actually going to get you to where you want to be, you will get there much faster. You'll take off faster than you could have ever imagined.
Like the person you want to become. That's not fake it till you make it, by the way. This is intentional. Intentionally act like the person you want to become. Because when you intentionally act like the person you want to become, your brain sees you taking those actions, so your brain starts to change the way it relates to you.
If you can get a mental image of the person you would most like to become, begin now to act as that person would act in everything you do. Gradually, imperceptibly, you will actually become that person. It goes back to what the great German poet and philosopher Goethe once said. Before you can do something, you must first be something.
Say, okay, what is the next right step I can make in this moment, right? I can't climb a mountain in a day, but I can take one step today. And then tomorrow I could take another step. And you just keep taking those steps each and every day. Eventually you're gonna create momentum, and that momentum is just gonna lead to more creativity, more inspiration, more clarity.
Learn to let go of what leaves. Because sometimes what we think is a goodbye forever is actually just to see you soon. If it's meant for you and it leaves, just know that it's going to come back when the timing is right. Sometimes things fall apart temporarily so that they can fall into place permanently.
be the best thing you can possibly be, and don't worry about what anyone thinks, because you cannot please everybody.
Life is beautiful in all its colors, even the darker ones. They're here for a reason. And let's just celebrate the good moments while they're happening and be grateful for everything.
Your laziness is something that has to do with you. You're not connected to something deep enough. You don't feel the necessity. You don't feel the devil at your heels. You don't feel the fact that you could very well die tomorrow that will impel you to get something done. There's no necessity behind it. And the human animal, the way we were created, is when we feel pressure, we feel the necessity to get things done. We can move mountains, but when that pressure releases and we don't feel the need to get something done, we can become incredibly lazy because there's no necessity. So you have to create necessity in your life. You have to create the need to get things done. You have to give yourself deadlines. You have to remind yourself that tomorrow you could die, you could have an illness. Give yourselves a sense of urgency that I need to get things done quickly.
It feels scary to jump, Ian. That is exactly when you jump. Otherwise, you end up staying in the same place your whole life. And that I can't do.